the Cleveland struggle and the hustle is what created Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Krayzie Bone, aka Anthony Henderson, formed Bone Thugs and Harmony with Lazy Bone, Busy Bone, Wishbone, and Flesh and Bone 35 years ago in Cleveland. The band is still playing today, but Krayzie Bone has his eyes set on projects beyond the stage in Northeast Ohio, looking to give back to the place that raised him. You're listening to Cleveland Magazine's Cleveland Connection podcast, where we take a closer look at the stories and surprising connections to Northeast Ohio and pop culture. My name is Annie Nikoloff. You might know Bone Thugs for its hit album East 1999 Eternal, which arrived 31 years ago, and which won a Grammy for Best Rap Performance of the iconic song The Crossroads. Produced by Eazy-E, the album was deeply influenced by the West Coast G-Funk scene and named after the group's come-up in Cleveland's Glenville neighborhood on East 99th Street and St. Clair Avenue. If you go there today, though, you'll see a different street sign. In 2023, East 99th Street was renamed Bone Thugs and Harmony Way to honor the band's musical achievements. Bone Thugs' impact on rap has been huge, and Krayzie Bone hopes to have just as big of an impact in his hometown. In Glenville, he's working on the Harmony District, a mixed-use neighborhood development that's slated to include a Bone Thugs museum. He's also running his Spread the Love Foundation, a nonprofit that serves vulnerable youth in Cleveland and helps guide them through music industry career paths. We got to catch up with Krayzie Bone, who has been busy preparing for an upcoming tour with Bone Thugs and Harmony and Wu-Tang Clan this summer. Here's our conversation.
I mean, man, it's a wonderful thing, Bone Thugs and Harmony, we're on the road pretty much all the time. So, but to get to do something like as legendary as this with us joining forces with Wu-Tang is definitely going to be like something big. I mean, we've been having discussions with Wu-Tang every time we went into them. Like, we need to tour, we need to do a project together. So I'm glad to see that this is actually happening.
I feel like it's going to be a highlight at Blossom Music Center just for, all the Clevelanders to come out and see you guys there. And it's just going to be such a great show. How are you preparing for the tour right now?
Oh man, well, we're getting our we're getting our show set together. Because we when we do shows, we usually do the hits, but we're gonna come out with a totally different stage set list. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do some songs that people love, but we hardly ever do. So I know Wu-Tang gonna come and do their thing and blow everybody away as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing Wu-Tang as well too.
Absolutely. I know it's been 31 years since you guys put out East 1999 Eternal, and I feel like that album
Mhm.
put Cleveland on the map. It's one of the most influential, iconic hip hop records of all time. And just hitting that big milestone, could you reflect on the impact of that album and what it was like to put that together and to see it still have so much and carry so much weight so many years later?
Man, I could say like we had fun recording that album. Like it was in the beginning of like we were really just getting started. So it was fun going to the studio. I mean, it's fun going to the studio now, but like the energy and the excitement of us being discovered by Eazy-E, that was still pumping through our veins. And so the energy of the album, like I feel like matched the feeling we were feeling at that time. That's why I was so energetic from beginning to end. I think that album is special because we'll never be able to recapture those feelings and emotion that we put into that album because everything was so new to us. So it's definitely a special project for sure.
And with that too, and you guys coming up in Cleveland, like, can you talk a little bit more about your inspirations that you found here in the city, like putting that album together, finding your sound here in Cleveland, and what you were maybe pulling from around you in the region?
Yeah, Cleveland was our greatest inspiration. Like we were determined that whenever we got on, if we got on, that we were going to rep Cleveland like Easy E and NWA was our favorite group, so we were determined to rep Cleveland like they rep Compton, and Easy even told us like when we got on, he was like, make sure y'all make sure y'all represent y'all city. And when he asked us where y'all want to shoot y'all first video, we said, of course, in Cleveland, in the neighborhood. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, smart choice. So like it was like Cleveland was an inspiration to us. Like, like we got so many memories in Cleveland and it molded and shaped who we were coming up. I don't think we would have had the same results if we would have been from somewhere else. Like, you know what I'm saying? It like the Cleveland struggle and the hustle is what created Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Well, in the same way I feel the city shaped you, you guys are shaping the city. I mean, even down to East 99th being renamed Bone Thugs and Harmony
Yes,
Way. Tell me more
yes,
about what it was like to see the city show you that love and to see that street sign change.
man, it was a wonderful thing. As it was going up, I was looking around like, wow, wow, we really did this little street that we used to just hang out on and just do nothing. It's now being honored in our name. And it's a great thing. And I have way more plans to do much more down in that community as well. So yeah, it's a blessing.
And I definitely want to talk more about that with the Spread the Love Foundation. And if you could tell me more about starting this nonprofit, what inspired you to kind of get this project going in your hometown?
Well, I actually have two nonprofits. The one that spread the love is the one I started first, and what inspired me to start that one was the people there. I knew I knew the struggle that we went through as far as being artists from Cleveland and not having any outlets or any, what I'm saying, any home base to go to even try to begin to figure out how to get into the industry. So I wanted to change that. I wanted to give people enough because we have a lot of talented people that come out of not just Ohio, Cleveland, but Ohio, period. So I wanted to create a platform to where, in the future, we don't, artists won't have to travel to New York or have to travel to LA to be discovered when we have enough talent and resources here. So that's what I'm working on now. I came back and I put together these programs for the youth, for inspiring artists, they want to learn the music business, not just learn how to be an artist or producer, but learn the behind the scenes of the record industry or the entertainment business. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm like giving these programs to the youth to try to teach them, give them a little bit of education before they go and try to get into the industry with no education. Because I feel like that's the imbalance in the industry is the artist has always been it's always been a tipping scale in the record labels favor because most artists come in and they're not educated about their business, so they're taken advantage of. So I wanted to give the artists a little something to work with before they go in to deal with these corporate giants. And my other nonprofit, the Harmony District, is basically focused on rebuilding the neighborhood that we grew up in. We were awarded parcels that the city wasn't doing anything with. So we're going to take those and upgrade them and build and start revitalizing the community as much as we can. So we're doing a lot of things in the city. So yeah, we're here. Our presence is being felt, and I love it. And the city knows we ain't went nowhere. We still there.
And with Harmony District, I know that includes a Bone Thugs museum, which just sounds incredible and reflecting on your legacy. Where does that project stand right now? I know that was announced. Was it last year that you guys announced the Harmony
Yeah.
District?
Man, it is coming along great. We are looking to hopefully break ground top of next year. We have a lot of momentum. We have the city is behind us 100%. We're looking to bring a grocery store there. Man, just a lot of things, like a lot of things. We're like restaurants, hotels, and a lot of things we want to bring to that area. So, and we have the city's full support. We have the investors already on deck. So now we're just going through the motions of the permits and getting everything moving.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see that come to life. And also the work you're doing with Spread the Love seems so impactful too. And to do it in a place
Yes.
like Cleveland, I feel like that's just so important. I hear from musicians all the time that the industry is just difficult to break into sometimes. You see musicians leaving the city and, having to go to these bigger markets to get some of that experience and education. Can you speak more to like just the impact it's having here in Cleveland with Cleveland musicians that you've seen like being hands-on with this so far?
Man, one thing I've always known is that it's a lot of talent in Cleveland. It always has been. Even there's a lot of people that's already famous and established that's from Cleveland. They just don't talk about the city. You know what I'm saying? So I think people need to, I think that the reason I want to do a museum was to highlight some of those people so people can come inside this museum and be like, oh, I didn't know this person was from there and they made it. You know what I'm saying? So that right there is inspiration alone. So once we do the museum and we bring all the people that made it from Ohio, because I hear people say like New York, if you can make it from New York, you can make it from anywhere. But I feel like if you can make it out of Cleveland, you can make it anywhere. You know what I'm saying? New York, they have opportunities there. They have celebrities everywhere. They have, but Cleveland is pretty much dry, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to that aspect. So I like to see the excitement of the inspiring artists when I tell them what I'm doing because I see hope. Everybody can't afford to get up and pack up and go to LA like we did or go to New York, you know what I'm saying? So we need to, I just want to set something up for here to give these artists here at home, the opportunity so they don't have to travel abroad to try to get it, for real.
Yeah. And I know Bone Thugs, you guys have been honored by the Music Keynote Award here in Cleveland. You've
Yeah.
performed at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You've done engagements at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You guys have not been inducted into the museum. And I'm wondering, do you hope for Bone Thugs someday to make it into the Rock Hall? And what would that mean to you guys as a group?
I mean, as a group would mean the world, us coming from Cleveland, right down the street from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, come on, it only makes sense, But I mean, it would be a great accolade, we're actually getting our star in Hollywood, so that'll go great along with it. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Yeah, the Hollywood star, like getting that announcement. I mean, what was your response to that news? That's coming up this summer, right? That you guys get to see
Yeah.
it and everything.
Yes, 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 man. Man, I was happy. I was like, wow. As many times as I've been to Hollywood and walked over those stars and looked at them just to see who was over there, now I can walk and see our name. It's crazy, and it's crazy because when we first came to California and we went down there, we went to go see the stars, and we was like, hopefully one day our name will be here. Like, you know what I'm saying? And hey, it happened for real.
And I know Bone Thugs, you guys have had hiatuses, breakups in the past, and you get back together, you keep performing, you've been steady, and but there have been times where you've said this will be the final time on stage together, like all the members together. Does it feel like, the band is imminent, or do you feel like Bone Thugs is sort of eternal from this point on?
I can say I don't think the group will ever officially retire. But that's just how I feel right now. I don't know. Tomorrow may be something different. You know what I'm saying? But I think because nobody in the group hates each other. We all cool, like still, you know what I'm saying? Like we have our difficulties or our differences, but it's nothing to make us be like, oh, I hate you, stay away from me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you never know with Bone. You know what I'm saying? This could go on forever and just come back at certain periods. You know what I'm saying? You never know.
I know last week you were in Cleveland, and you're in Cleveland quite often. Obviously, you're doing a lot of work here and even musical
Mhm.
performances here. How do you like to spend time in the city? Is there anything that you particularly enjoy doing, or any restaurants that you like really love going to? I'm just
Oh
kind of
yeah.
curious about your life here.
Oh yeah, man. Every time I come back, I gotta hit all my favorite food spots. I gotta get my corned beef sandwich. I gotta get my Polish boy and my chicken wings. I gotta get my Mr. Heroes because you can't find that nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you know what I'm saying? Like, I make sure I hit all my spots, and then after, what I'm saying, and I just go kick it with family and friends and go down to the old neighborhood and just hang out. You know what I'm saying? I just love being in the city. Like especially with the work we doing. I just like now I come to the city and I've become, kind of a developer because I'll ride through certain areas and be like, hey, we need to put a we need to put a store here. We need to put a restaurant there. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different vibe now. But I love it though. It's cool. Real cool.
With that perspective, can you speak to how you've seen the city change or parts of the city change over the years?
Oh yeah, I'm loving how with I loving the momentum. I saw a post the other day that said Cleveland is the number 4 city that is set to make a huge comeback. So I was happy with that. I was very, very happy with that because of the plans that we have, and I see what they're doing downtown on the lakefront, and what they're going to do to the lake on our side of town, and then with the Brown Stadium being built, what that's going to bring. So I see a positive future for the city of Cleveland because I'm tired of people talking about Cleveland. What's in Cleveland? Yeah, okay. You'll see in the next couple of years what's in Cleveland for real. Definitely.
It seems like there's always a Cleveland connection, if you know where to look, and you just learned about a really big one. Thank you to Krayzie Bone for sharing his stories with me. You can keep up with his Spread the Love Foundation at the organization's website, spreadtheloveoh.com, and you can follow Bone Thugs on Instagram at their account, BTNHLive. Thank you to Nihilore for the song Phantasms, which you're hearing behind me right now and also heard at the beginning of the podcast. Be sure to follow Cleveland Magazine online at clevelandmagazine.com, on social media, and in print for more stories like this one. I'm Annie Nikoloff. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Cleveland Connection. Oh, wait, one more thing. Bone Thugs is on tour soon, and Krayzie Bone wanted to give a shout out to his fans, so I'll actually finish up this episode with a little bit more from him. Thanks for listening.
Just thanks to all our fans that have been supporting us for 32 years now. You know, it's been a great run. We have a lot more left in us, so y'all make sure y'all stay tuned because we got a lot more coming. You know what I'm saying? Music and non-music, so stay tuned.